Thank you. Those two little words can change somebody's world. And you are a generous leader, always looking for ways to show your appreciation. And still, sometimes it's challenging to figure out how to say thanks without breaking the bank. Today, we're going to look at why it is important to say thanks and how we can do it in a number of different ways. So thank you for being here. Let's jump right in. Welcome to the Leadwell podcast, where we give mission-driven leaders principled and practical advice so that you can do just that, lead well. You know that leading well involves being generous, being grateful, and saying thank you. And you might also be in a season where it's a little constrained and you're saying, I need to get creative on how I say thank you. That's what we're going to dive into today. Before we do, I'm your host, John Kidwell, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being here every single Tuesday. Thank you for sending in questions, and thank you for letting us be a part of your leadership development and for letting us know how this podcast impacts your leadership journey. It means the world. So here's the thing. We know that saying thank you and showing gratitude, expressing thanks is really important. And this week, Thanksgiving week here in the States, we are all thinking about it. But at work, it doesn't actually happen as much as we think. So let's look at some data from the Center for Creative Leadership and see what is going on. Here's what it says. One study found that while people regularly say thank you to our families, like hopefully we're doing this week, at work, it's only about 15%. That's less than 1 in 5 people saying thank you. Now, that same study found that 1/3 of managers never say thank you. 1 out of every three managers have never said thank you. Guess what? In that same article from Center for Creative Leadership, Glassdoor survey was cited where 80% of team members would work harder for an appreciative boss. And a study from a fundraising center found that 50% improvement boosts in fundraising and performance after the boss said thank you. Now, this isn't one of those things where we say thanks to get that, but we say thank you because we know it is good and right to do. And those just happen to be results that come out of being generous. That is one of the ways that expressing gratitude and being generous refreshes everybody. We get inspired, we get motivated, we get connected with each other, and we want to work harder for each other. We don't say thanks to get that. That comes as a result of saying thanks. We say thanks because we really appreciate people. So let's talk about some ways that we can give thanks and say thank you and express our gratitude to our team. Here's where this really started. I was recently on with a leader, and they were talking about the constraints of the budget, how they were behind. They were in the red. They've been in the red. Their specific directive was to get in the black, but they knew that their people needed to hear, you're doing a good job. Thank you for the work that you're doing. We're on the right track. So what did this person specifically do? Well, they started telling their team that. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for going above and beyond. But on top of that, this leader said, hey, it's really about showing the gratefulness and not delivering some highfalutin, extravagant thing that costs lots of money. So they had a trailer. They had a barbecue pit. I mean, you all know I'm in Texas. They went and just set it up, got the meat that they needed, grilled it, and had a nice 2-hour lunch with their team saying thank you. Now, here's what we know. We know that doing that is not a one-stop solution to all of the problems that may result in and around showing thanks. And we know that bringing in a pizza party or a barbecue or whatever it is isn't going to solve all of those things. And at the same time, what was unique to him was that it was spontaneous and that it was individualized. And those are two wonderful principles to remember as we move into saying thank you. So what's the first thing that we can do that doesn't break the bank, but we can do it all the time in multiple ways, and it is a way to express gratitude to our team? Number one way, words. We started at the top. There are two simple words that can change someone's world, and it is thank you. Start with words, saying thanks, finding something that you can be grateful for, and giving specific positive feedback about that. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, oftentimes we say, good job, way to go, thanks. But we often don't tie it to what specifically we are grateful for. So once we use words, let's use words that matter by tying it to specific positive feedback. Great job on the presentation. You delivered that in a compelling and concise way. Hey, thank you so much. I know you stayed late to deliver that project on time, and I am truly grateful. Whatever it might be, tie it to the very specific thing that they did that we are most grateful for. Here's the other thing that we can do with words. We can put pen to paper. I mean, you and I both know this. We feel this. Have you looked in the mail and gotten something that was specifically for you lately, that was not a bill, that was not a political ad, and that was not somebody asking for money, but it was just a letter, a note, a card to you? It blows your mind and it warms your heart. Now, imagine if we just took the time to write down a thank you note to a team member and hand it to them. How might that change their day? So if we're going to say thank you, start with words. The next might be with some of our actions. I was talking with one of our clients the other day, and he was reminding me about, or he was telling me and remembering himself about what he used to do. And this is a great way to express gratitude. It was spontaneous and it was individualized. He went out to their retail spots. He had retail operations. He went out to the retail spots and he would show up and he would cover shifts around lunchtime to give an extended break, right? So maybe instead of 30 minutes, they were going to get an hour. Instead of an hour, they were going to get 75 minutes to 90 minutes. But what it did was he was able to show up to say thank you. Thank you for your hard work. I see you, and I am grateful for all of the dedication you bring to this organization, showing up and swapping out and giving them extended time. Now, we can do this whether we have team members that are in retail operations, shift workers, we go out and cover their shifts, or even team members by just honoring and recognizing it's a season. Thank you so much for putting in the extra time. Go home, right? We could do that. Bring in can't get my words out today. Bring in spontaneous days off, times away, going and saying thank you by taking everybody to a movie. That's not going to break the bank if we take our team to a movie, but looking for ways that we can remove and give an extra space away from work, whether it's with us or even just being flexible and saying, you've been running really hard. We're super grateful. Take the time. Now, another way that we can do this is by individual gestures. If we have words, we have actions, and we bring individual gestures in as a way to thank our team, we can do this, and we can do this without breaking the budget. What do I mean by individual gestures? I mean, obviously there's a lot of flack around pizza parties or, nap areas or dry cleaning or childcare, and that they just kind of become the perks and the benefits package. And it's not really saying thanks, but looking at an individual and identifying something that they need and meeting that need, that is a wonderful way to show generosity and that you are grateful. Seeing someone that is putting in a significant amount of time, or maybe just absolutely crushed it on the performance. Whatever the goal was, they beat it by 30%, and you take that individual to a meal. You give that individual just a little impromptu thank you, monetary or otherwise, to show that you appreciate it, to express your gratitude. Words, actions, and individual gestures will all connect us with our team, but it also gives us an opportunity, whether it's breaking the bank or not, to say thank you. And just to put it on there for all of us, because we are generous leaders and we want to figure out ways to be more generous, we should also build in structured generosity and gratitude. Put in those birthdays and those work anniversaries into the calendar so that you can say thank you in a specific way. Maybe one of those handwritten notes. Put in when you are going to actually retreat as an organization and just serve the people that work there. Imagine a place where all of the leaders turn around and serve all of the food. Imagine a place where all of the leaders turn around and serve the entire team. How amazing would that be, especially when we tie it in with saying thank you. This work is all possible because of you, team. This is why we do these things. So we talked today about giving thanks without breaking the bank by doing it with our words, with our actions, with individual gestures. And we can always look for ways to do those and bring in structured, generous gratitude policies, procedures, practices into our organizations. And y'all, thank you. And I hope that you have some time where you can pause, reflect, and look at what you can be thankful for and where you can give thanks in this season of Thanksgiving. Now let's jump into a question. Matthew, we love taking questions. And y'all, if you have a question, send it in to us. Email me at podcast@leadwell.com or text me at 832-895-1253. You can leave a voicemail at that same number, and I would love to be able to answer a question in the future episode. Matthew, what do we have today?
This question's great, either as a new learning or as a reminder for some of us. Which of these is most important to an organization? The mission, the core values, or the vision? And what are their differences?
Which of these is most important? The mission, the core values, or the vision? Well, they are all important to an organization. Which one is the most important? The mission. And here's why. If we break apart those, mission, core values, vision, mission is why we do the work. Core values are how we do the work, and vision is where we are going. And if I get those out of order, I might not actually end up in the right destination, and I might not be doing it in a way that I want to, that aligns with the work I'm trying to do. That's a lot. How can we unpack that? Here's what it is. Simon Sinek says start with why. And that is, in fact, the mission. Why do we do the work? What is the purpose of the work that we do? When we are first clear on that, then it starts to indicate how we're going to go about that. If we're a people-serving organization, there are going to be values in there around how we engage with people. If we're a service-based organization, there are going to be values that indicate how we serve. So we want to get the why first, because now all of a sudden it starts to inform the how, and both of those things together are going to give us what we need to be able to paint a much clearer vision for the future of where we're going to go, both in terms of what we achieve and how we get there. And so if we're looking at what is the most important, I would tell you that first it's the mission, then we figure out our core values and ultimately the vision, because if I just come up and say I have a vision, I can't actually get where I want to go if I don't know why I want to get there. So long way to say which is the most important. It's the mission, because it's why, which will inform the how, which we need both of those to be able to point to where. Enough said? Hopefully. Y'all, what do you think? Leave us a note in social media and would love to know what you think. MVV, mission, vision, values. Which one is it that you think is most important to an organization? And again, thank you so much for being here. Wish you all a very, very happy Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you again next Tuesday. Be well, lead on, God bless.